Eileen and I just saw the movie Dunkirk, and we both recommend it to you. The movie, though, leaves out half of the story of Dunkirk, which is what happened after the evacuations. As you know, the Dunkirk evacuation was incredibly heroic, featuring small pleasure craft, leisure craft, fishing trawlers, and other boats, damn near rowboats, that evacuated British and French soldiers. But when it came to evacuating the French, a lot of Brits thought that British soldiers should have priority. But Churchill, at a meeting with the French leadership, said that it should be the two of them together. In fact, he was histrionic, he was very theatrical, had the French president's minister stand up, linked arms with him, and marched around the conference table, around and around, yelling, "Bras des sœurs, bras des sœurs, bras des sœurs," arm in arm, arm in arm, arm in arm. And indeed, the evacuation proceeded arm in arm, and 140,000 French troops, along with 200,000 British troops, were evacuated from Dunkirk. Well, the British troops came home to Britain, were rearmed, given some R&R, and then sent back into the war. The French troops landed in Britain, and this is the hidden story. France was still at war with Germany, fighting against Hitler. And these French troops wanted to be repatriated to go right back into the war. And all but 3,500 of them were sent back into France, largely landing in Cherbourg and Normandy and Brest, where many of them were simply rearrested on site and sent to prisoner of war camps. Many of the others made it safely to France without getting rearrested, but were still in the French army. And when France surrendered to Germany, about a week or two after Dunkirk, the French government was replaced by the Vichy French government, and the capital was in Vichy, France. And that was a collaborationist government headed by Marshal Henri Pétain. And they were Hitler's puppets. In fact, they did Hitler's bidding and fought against Britain and the United States for the rest of the war. And many of those French troops who we evacuated at Dunkirk were sent back to France, rejoined the French army, and then surfaced again fighting against us in North Africa, in Syria, in many of the French colonial places. In fact, the French even sent a division of troops to Russia to fight against Stalin in Hitler's invading force. So, and most famously, in Toulon in France on the Mediterranean, the French fleet was anchored, and Churchill demanded that the fleet surrender, and Pétain refused, and the British bombed the French fleet, killing many sailors and sinking many of the ships lest they fall into German hands. So the conflict between Britain and France waged during the period from 1940 to 1942. In 1942, Hitler invaded the rest of France. He'd occupied the northern third, including Paris. He invaded the rest of it, and it became entirely under German control. And the French armies stopped fighting against the American and British armies. But throughout the North African campaign and all of that, the French were fighting against us. And many of those soldiers who fought against us were the very troops who we had evacuated from Dunkirk. Thanks for watching.